What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to tonight's late night agenda. And yeah, I don't know what it is with YouTube lately, but whenever we click go live, we have to have it on. So we have to do two things now instead of one. Whereas we used to just click go live and hey presto, it went live. But look, we are live now, thankfully. Apologies and thank you to you guys that waited in the chat. We do have a lot to get through tonight, so I will get straight into it. As always, I want to say thank you to our sponsors, Manscaped, to remind you guys the all-new Perfect Performance Package 4.0 is available now at manscaped.com. You can use air code WFM20 and get yourself 20% off absolutely anything. The Performance Package features the Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker earrings and nose hair trimmer, Performance Boxer Briefs, ball toner, ball deodorant, and it all comes in a fantastic box. Comes packaged up, ready to go, and says right on it, your balls will thank you later, and they absolutely will. As I always keep telling you, good folks. Right, look, where do we want to start? Cristiano Ronaldo? Do we want to talk about the bid that's going in for Mbappe and being rejected? Do we want to talk about the links to Liverpool, or real lack of links to Liverpool? Look at this gobshite. Liverpool in the mud. Liverpool in the mud. Yeah, 6 points out of 6, dickhead in the league. Yeah, in the mud. You really don't. You're really not full of it at all, mate. Like, you definitely know what you're talking about. I'm definitely not going to block you on the channel at all. Right, what have we got? Atletico first, right? We want to talk about the Champions League. Then let's have a little look-see at the Reds group in the Champions League. And here is who Liverpool have been drawn with. Atletico Madrid, Liverpool, Porto and AC Milan. A very difficult group, I think that's fair to say. And I'm looking forward to it. Call me a bit of a sadist, folks. Call me what you want, but I'm looking forward to this. I don't like the idea of getting a handy group in the Champions League. I like the idea of having some games to look forward to. And I tell you what, Atleti, we owe 1-2. AC Milan, a little bit of the unknown, of course, haven't been back in the competition after we'd out of it for a good while. They do, of course, have Zlatan. And then Porto, of course, who I think lost Marega, didn't they? So probably not as strong as they were, albeit they did add, of course, Marco Grujic to their ranks. So it's a tough group, but you know, I think we should be getting through that group one way or the other. If we don't navigate through a group like that, then, you know, we don't need to be worrying about the latter part of the tournament because we don't belong there. So to me, you know, I think we'll get out of that group, and I'm looking forward to some of the games. I mean, we usually beat Porto. Sadio Mane loves a few goals against Porto. Atleti, look, Diego Simeone's side, always difficult to beat home or away. And AC Milan are a little bit of the unknown, but again, I'm not fearful going into this group. I'm optimistic, and I think we'll get out of it, and I think we'll get into the latter stages. And I don't really know what else to say on that one, folks. I'm not looking forward to it since we can't play fringe players now. Look, this isn't going to be the stream where we all come in and piss and moan, because there's enough people doing that. If you want to piss and moan, fuck off to Twitter or something like that, because I've been reading through some of the comments, and my God, the defeatist nature and attitude from some people is absolutely baffling. Need I remind everybody that we've played 2 games, won 2 games in the league, we've got all our players back, we've added Ibrahim Konate, there's still time in the transfer window for something to potentially done, and yet some of our fans are losing their minds because we haven't gone out and signed Haaland or somebody. I mean, it's disappointing. We would have loved to sign it. I would have loved us to have gone out and brought somebody in, and I still think we might. So, you know, chill, relax, and don't worry about the Cristiano Ronaldos of this world, because if he does go to City, I'm going to say it, and I'm going to be very clear about it. In my mind, Ronaldo is fucking washed up. I don't care how many goals he scored in Serie A. If he comes into Manchester City, that shows one thing and one thing only, that he wants everything just laid for him on a plate, because he knows he's at the tail end of his career. He's nowhere near the player that he once was. And if you said to me at the start of this window, Craig, they can either sign Harry Kane or Cristiano Ronaldo at Manchester City, I'm saying give them Ronaldo, give them Cristiano Ronaldo, because if I'm Harry Kane, guarantees them another Premier League title. Harry Kane probably guarantees them a Champions League, where I don't think Cristiano Ronaldo is as good as he once was. And I said the same about Messi. They are the greatest of our generation, but they're nowhere near the players that they were 3-4 years ago. And I don't care, all you fanboys out there. You can hit me up with all your stats and all your Ronaldo love and all this other bullshit waffle from you idiots that know fuck all about the game that I have to listen to over and over and over again. Uncle Craig's here dishing out the truth. And the truth is that Cristiano Ronaldo was a petulant, spoiled little brat that's angry for a move away from Juventus because he threw all his toys out of the pram there because what? They didn't have a team good enough for him to win the Champions League. Wasn't poor Cristiano's fault. And not just does he want out of there. Oh no! Him and his agent are trying to wrangle a move out of there for free because Manchester City apparently are too scabby to pay the 28 million buyout clause or to buy out his contract. You could not make this stuff up. Manchester City and PSG are just like the two spoiled little bitches of football at the minute that think that they can just go around and do what they want. And I, as a Liverpool fan, with some realism, am supposed to sit here and listen to some people whine and bitch about signings that Liverpool haven't made, that we're never going to make, that we wouldn't have made in the history of the club. We don't bring in superstars. We bring in good players and turn them into superstars. And if that's not for you, then my God, do me a favour and please fuck off. Because honestly, I cannot be bothered listening to the bitching and the moaning. I've had enough of it on Twitter from people losing their shit. This is Positivity Central. Let's come on here and look ahead to the weekend's game against Chelsea. Let's look ahead to the Champions League group. And let's look with some positivity. Because I don't know about you, but I absolutely believe in this group of players. Having Virgil van Dijk back, having the spine of our team back together, we're as good as anybody. So let them sign all of their mercenaries. Let them all come in on 4, 5, 6, 700 grand a week. Give me a Mohamed Salah, give me a Sadio Mane and a Virgil van Dijk. Give me a Jurgen Klopp. And I'm one happy camper, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Someone needs to humble Man City and PSG. Well, they'll have the Oil Classico, won't they? In the Champions League, they'll be playing each other. So there you go. I mean, look, if this doesn't tell us that footballers to some level have just no fucking morals or scruples or dignity anymore. Messi ran from Barcelona straight into another club that was basically just bought themselves everything they needed to try and go and justify their existence as a club by winning the Champions League. And I hope that, good God, they burn down in flames and fail miserably in their attempt to do it. And Manchester City as well, another one of these country-backed projects. And now they're looking at bringing in Ronaldo. I mean, could you make this shit up, honestly? They almost won it last year, but Pep overthought it and bottled it. Sorry, Pep, but you did, mate. You might as well buy Ronaldo. And if you get to the Champions League final, we'll all just agree now, Pep, you're going to play him at right back, because that's probably what will happen. You'll overthink it and they'll end up playing him at right back. I've just got no time for it anymore. I really don't. I couldn't be arsed. I wonder what Sir Alex thinks about Ronaldo's backstab. I don't know, mate, but it just goes to show you they're all out for one. That's why I say to you, I say it over and over and over again. I don't understand all of these fanboys out there, those Neymar fanboys, Messi fanboys, Ronaldo fanboys. I'm a Liverpool fan. It's the badge. I've always said the same phrase. Footballers are transient employees of a football club. We're all here for the badge. We love the football club. We don't give a shit who stays, who goes. It's the club at the end of the day. I'm with you, Craig. Let's get behind the team and remind the world how good we really are. There you go, Jonathan. I love to see it. Man City just won shirt sales. Well, jeez, have you seen the state of the third shirt? They won't be selling many of them. It's awful. Puma have done a lot of clubs dirty with those third shirts. Only reason they want to get Ronaldo is more plastic fans. Exactly. Nobody can tell me that that move's based on football, because it isn't. You don't bring in Ronaldo. What is he now, 107? Bring him in now and just get him. Just stand there, and when somebody else goes offside, don't worry. Kevin De Bruyne will come up and lift you and carry it over Cristiano and put you back in the non-tight position until the ball gets put right onto your foot. Because heaven forbid it goes a yard in front of him. He'll stand there with his hands on his hips doing this shit. What, me? Not me. Not the great Cristiano. You're a mercenary, mate. Anyway, right, I've got loads to get through on this one. A little bit of talk about Yves Bissouma. Now, look, it's from Duncan Castle, so, you know, take from that what you will. I wouldn't be somebody who would say Duncan Castle's usually closer to the United side of things. I think Manchester even the news. I don't know if he still works there, but said there has been an inquiry around Yves Bissouma, and look, we knew this at the start of the window. This is what baffles me. Here we are, 5 days out or so from the window closing, and we're still playing the game of, are we going to replace Gini Wijnaldum with one of the two players that we started the very transfer window talking about with Saul and Bissouma, and we still don't know. It seems like Saul's been hawked all around Europe on loan with an option to buy. Chelsea looked like they were getting him, and then I think they've gone in for that. Is Tuchemani or whatever the young lad's name is from Monaco. When I was talking earlier on to Alex Goldberg, he was talking about a potential move there. It's gone mad, mate. The football's just gone mad. Honestly, I don't know. I'm this close right now to just saying what's the point of it all. Because football is just going down the drain. And if our owners look around right now, And I'll tell you what drove me to this. I'll be blunt and I'll be honest. I'll tell you what drove me to this. I got a message last night from somebody telling me that they'd heard, and this is somebody I can say is credible, that they've heard that Liverpool are entertaining the idea of bringing Felipe Coutinho back on a loan deal with very, very, very reduced wages. And as soon as I heard that, whether it comes true or not, I said, nah, fuck that. Fuck that and John W. Henry. Like, that is ridiculous. To even consider that is ridiculous. Like, just to even entertain the notion of letting that slimy little fecker back to the club. Folks, I don't know. And then Saul as well, right at the end of the window. Here we are. What will happen? What won't happen? Will it happen? Will he go on loan? He wants 450 grand a week. He doesn't want 450 grand a week. Have you heard the Ocampos rumours? No, and I don't want to hear them either, thanks. It's mad. Just because we had one of those off seasons doesn't mean we're washed or dusted. Exactly. And Liz, thank you for the super chats. And I'm positive there will be some great matches during the Champions League group stage and Liverpool will prevail. I'm entirely positive about the football team going into this season, Liz. I mean, I still think we could do with an addition or two. Ideally, I'd want an addition or two. But I read something interesting earlier on. And look, I don't want to again replay next year FC, but increasing players' contracts. So again, there's a very good piece on this, I think, from Kieran Maguire, who's the football finance expert that the Echo often bring in. And if you look at the piece that they wrote, they explain that like a player's value is amortized over the course of his contract. So let's say we signed Virgil van Dijk, for instance. Well, he signed up on a 5-year deal. The cost of his value will be spread over the course of those 5 years. So when you extend a player's contract, like Liverpool have done with Alisson, with Fabinho, with Van Dijk, with Trent, with Robbo, with many others, it also extends the ability to amortize the player's value across the new length of that contract, meaning that Liverpool's cost ratio will be less. So maybe next year we actually will have more financial capabilities. Now, I'm sure that there is an accountant watching this somewhere who, you know, can give you far better insight on it, but it is there if you want to go and have a read of it. And again, I know none of us want to hear next year FC, none of us want to hear could be a big summer next summer, because we seem to hear that every year and then there's an excuse. PSG reject Real Madrid bid for Mbappe. Now, can we just all stop for a second here? And just for 1 second, everybody stop whatever you're doing at home, wherever you are, if you're balls deep in the misses or whatever you're doing, just stop. Hang on, listen for 1 sec. We're in a world now where Kylian Mbappe can leave Paris Saint-Germain at the end of this season. He can sign a pre-contract for anybody outside of the French league in January in agreement for next season. And yet Florentino Perez, the man who we all know lives in Florentino Perez land, has decided in his infinite wisdom that he should go and bid 170 million euro, 170 million euro for a player that can be gotten for free in 11 months. And not only that, the lunatics over at PSG have only gone and said, no, you tell me that that's a fucking sustainable football club that turns down an offer of 170 million euro for a player that's already told him he wants out and that's going to leave next summer. That is... I told you the last week of this window was going to get mental. I told you last week it was going to be a crazy week. I didn't quite believe what I was going to see unfold in front of my eyes. Cash-strapped club puts in 170 million euro offer. The other club who has just taken the piss and signed Lionel Messi to add in with Neymar Jr. and all the other additions that they've done and contracts they've extended. And they've only gone and said no. They've gone and said, nah, we don't need your 170 million. We're all right. Sure. I don't know. Will he go? Will he stay? Well, he said he's not going to stay. Reverse another truck of cash up to the gaff and see what happens. Still shaking of the head. He doesn't want to go. And then before, by the way, have you seen the Mina Raiola stuff? Apparently, Haaland wanted 40-something million a year. And then Mina Raiola wanted a salary of 36 million or something. These people are absolute shysters of the highest order. And you and I, like the gobshites that we are sitting here paying our Sky subscriptions, paying for our BT, buying our football shirts, buying our tracksuit tops, going to the game, to fund Mina Raiola getting 36 million quid for facilitating the transfer of a player that I could sell to any club in the world tomorrow, that you could sell. And that greasy bastard wants 36 million quid. For what? It comes out of your pocket, it comes out of my pocket, it comes out of all the football fans' pocket. Football is just gone. It's just going to the dogs, ladies and gentlemen. These people are lunatics. Honestly, mental. Just mental. So now just, again, play that over in your head. Mina Raiola, on top of the transfer fee, wanted Haaland to have a salary of 46 million euro a year, and he had to have a little 36 million himself to make it happen. That is ridiculous. No player of his age should be making 46 million quid a year. He's not worth 46 million quid a year. He's a goddamn footballer. It is ridiculous. And then we're here talking about, can we get BISSOUMA? Can we afford 40 million for BISSOUMA? Whereas Oligarch FC and Oil FC and Abu Dhabi FC and Dubai FC and whoever else are just out there throwing the petroleum money up in the air for laughs. They are literally burning £50 notes laughing at us. The world's gone mad. It has gone mad. And I can't grasp it anymore. I can't get my head around the reality of football these days. I hope to God somebody at UEFA or FIFA have the balls to call this out and go, you mean to tell me, PSG, that you can afford all of this shit playing in the league in France that has no TV deal or that is struggling financially, and you mean to tell us that you can really balance those books of having potentially Messi, Mbappe, Neymar, Donnarumma, Gini Wijnaldum, Marco Verratti, and every other superstar that they have in the club, that we're supposed to believe that you make enough money in sponsorship deals and in ticket sales to fund all of that? We're supposed to sit here as lay people and believe that shite. It's mad. It is mad. And then FIFA and UEFA go, but we can't enforce it. But we can't enforce it. Where's it going to go, like? Where's it going to go? It's madness. There's no such thing as FFP. Absolutely not. If they should, they couldn't even enforce it. Every time they went to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, were turning over all the FFP claims. The one time that UEFA tried to take Manchester City to court over it, they couldn't. They didn't even know their own fucking rules. They didn't even know their own rules. Basically, from what I understand, City got away with that because of something that was past the statute of limitations. Now, imagine UEFA, the governing body that wrote these rules, rocking up to a court and not knowing that their own statute of limitations on something had expired. That's the level of idiocy that's running football. And this is the top of the tree, like, this is the top level. These are the people that are supposed to be looking after the sport. Madness. Anyway, I don't know where I am today, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like I've gone on a bit of a mad one to start this one, I'll be honest with you. It's, I can't get my head around. I mean, I just come from recording a normal video with Goldbridge, and then I'm on here and I'm starting to just see the name PSG even is enough to just make me angry at this point. Money doesn't buy trophies, and you know what? That is the only piece, I suppose, that we can take from this. That with all the money PSG and all the money that Manchester City have thrown at it, they still can't win the European Cup, and that's the only thing that gives me solace. The fact that neither of them can still win the European Cup, and you know what? They won't win it this year either. PSG with Messi, they still won't fucking win it. Manchester City, if they bring in Ronaldo to go with Jack Grealish, you're still not going to win it. And it's still going to be beautiful. And we're still going to be cheering on football. And every other club in the world hopes that the two of you are absolute fucking shambles this year. Because they'll let you in a little secret. Nobody likes you. Nobody. People will bow down and kiss your ass because you throw money around them, and people will be nice and all, but every other fucking club in the world absolutely despises the pair of you because you are a shambles. An absolute shambles, and you've ruined our sport with the way you're just throwing money around. It's madness. Anyway, I've had my rant, so let's move on. Don't even get me started, Keane, about City sponsors, mate. Don't even get me started about City sponsors. Well, you've got me started now about City sponsors. So, City sponsors, let's say Abu Dhabi Airlines or Emirates. Isn't it? Emirates is one of their sponsors. I can't remember which one it is. So, Manchester City, a club that, shall we say, are known to not always sell out the Etihad, that have become a nouveau riche club, that have always had a good fan base in the UK, a good, loyal, strong fan base. We're now supposed to believe that they can outdo Manchester United, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Liverpool, every other established football club, and get sponsorship deals way above market value to what any other club can get. Oh, and these happen to be from the same part of the world. Yeah, we all believe that. Did the Spiegel article, did you once hear the phrase, we didn't do it? No, all I heard was they were obtained illegally. Everything was obtained illegally. This is out of context, yada, yada, yada. God, they're cheating bastards. I hate the pair of them. I do. I despise PSG, and I'm sick to fucking death of Manchester City as well. They are an irrelevance. They are a stain on the sport. And that's all my opinion, and that's the beauty of YouTube. It is just my opinion. Everything I've said is my opinion. And if you don't like it, kiss my ass, because I really don't care if you're one of the 4 real Manchester City fans. And let's be honest, PSG, they have some ultra fans, but they're only a club that was formed in the 70s. So, couldn't give a fuck about them either. Right, what else we got? I think, yeah, this young man did join the club today, Bobby Clark, which is great to see. Bobby Clark, of course, will go into the under-18s, I believe, and he was signed from Newcastle. This is the guy that we've been talking about, the 16-year-old kid that a lot of you have been asking me about for a few weeks now. He has finally made the move. He is a Liverpool player, and he takes the number 10, as you can see there, for the underage players. So, yes, welcome to the club, Bobby Clark. Lovely to have him in, and another promising youngster through the doors at Liverpool, which is great to see. Now, look, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of balls and these lads having the balls to try and pull off these deals that they're pulling on, don't forget about our sponsors, Manscaped. Get yourselves over to manscaped.com. Use our code WFM20. That's W for whiskey, F for foxtrot, M for Mike. 20. Get yourselves off 20% off absolutely anything at manscaped.com, including the all-new Performance Package 4.0. And you know the phrase, don't you? Them balls of yours, they'll defo thank you later. And if they don't, your missus or your fella or your partner, whoever, will thank you on behalf of your nuts. So there you go, gents. You know, you need to look after down there. We're not back in the Graham Souness 70s era now. I'm a modern man. I take care of myself. I've no hair up here, so I have to maintain the little bit of hair I have elsewhere. And I like to do it with Manscaped products because they are the best. Craig, Ure and Egg. Let's have a look at this absolute fucking cabbage. And his... No, don't delete that. I'm putting that back out, Mick. Hang on. Let's have a look at Joseph Dillon here. Let's all have a little look-see at the fucking genius that is Joseph Dillon. Right, so you went for a four-phrase insult there, my man. You got 2 of them wrong, dickhead. I mean, it's you are, mate. It's Craig, you are, an egg. Not Craig, you're, and egg. Are you that fucking dumb, mate? That even when you try and troll, you still can't get a... Are you educated? Like, are you in a school? Does somebody get paid now? Is there a teacher out there watching at home? Because I'm sure a lot of teachers watch. That says to me, oh, not this Joseph fucking Egypt again. This lad's making a holy shame to the school. Mate, 4 words. You got the context wrong. You got the words wrong. All you managed to do was press on the right thing for egg. That's what I have to deal with. That's what you're going to give to me, Joseph. You're an egg. You're an egg, Craig. Joseph, do you know what you should do, mate? Go downstairs, boil yourself an egg, and fucking sit on it, pal. Because it'll probably bring you more enjoyment, you absolute fruitcase. It's the opinion of a lot of people about City and PSG, said Scott. A realist, money has ruined the sport. Yeah, look. Now, we have to be... We're not squeaky clean, by the way. I've had my rant about PSG and I've had my rant about Manchester City. But we've paid enough money to greasy agents as well, by the way. It's important to point that out. Liverpool are right up there when it comes to paying wages or money out to agents, which, in my opinion, is just taking more money out of the game. But yeah, anyway, yeah, no more Mr. Nice Boy, Craig. You don't like you kiss my ass. That Joseph and that other fucking Amadon from earlier on. Come in here and have a pop at the king and you're gone. This isn't nicey. This is Craig 2.0. Fully self-employed. Couldn't give a fuck. Will say what I want when I want. If you don't like it, kiss my ass. That's the Craig you're dealing with now, ladies and gentlemen. To the regulars, I'm sorry. Tonight has been a bit off the wall to start with. But I'm going to calm down now. I'm going to chill. And I'm going to relax. Because I'm actually really in a good mood. Believe it or not. I just can't believe that people are actually as idiotic as some of the comments that are written in here. Like, sometimes I wonder, are these lads sitting at home, is there like some type of special software that they use, like, to make themselves sound even more stupid than they actually are? Because I fail to believe that anybody who can comprehend a 4-word sentence could be that dumb. Like, I genuinely, like, I go out on the street now, pick out anyone, pick a 4-year-old child, and say, here's the keyboard, type in Craig, you're an egg, and see how well you get on. You're and egg. Not even you are. You're. Why are you are? Oh, man. You're somebody's child, man. Some teachers, after being paid by the government to educate you, and you come on and try and have a pop at me, pick up a fucking book, mate. Because you need to learn them ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, do, re, mi's before you come on here and have a pop at a lad with these. Do you know what I mean? Because you ain't got the big nuts, pal. Do I think Liverpool should try go all in for Nico Barella, excuse me, I've been corrected on that pronunciation a few times, for 30 to 50 million? I'd love Barella. I'd love Pedri. But I'm going to be honest with you, all I'm hearing is loan. That's all I'm hearing. Now, there's every possibility that I don't know something. I've said that numerous times. So many possibilities of me not knowing something. But, yeah, can I ask you a question? Let me put this back to the chat. Do you think we're going to make a signing between now and the end of the window? Give me a thumbs up if you think we will, or give me a thumbs down if we won't. I mean, it's the simplest way to run the vote, I suppose, on here. Philip Hunt, how are you, dude? Lovely to see you in as always. Said Mbappe going to Real Madrid and PSG could get Salah or Ronaldo. I hate the way this sport has become. Also, screw that Arsenal fan on the kickoff slating Salah. I don't watch the kickoff, mate, so I didn't see. I know that the Hugh Withey isn't on there anymore. I see that they'd replaced him with a different guy. But look, I can't comment on something I haven't seen, so I won't talk about the kickoff and what the guy did or didn't say because I don't know. But the Salah Ronaldo stuff, or the Ronaldo stuff, and the Messi stuff in particular makes me smile. It's like they're both two big spoiled babies, and one of them runs off to purpose-built FC to try and win himself another Ballon d'Or in a Champions League. Well, the other lad then throws all his toys out of the pram because the team that he wanted to go to, by the way, remember? You know, he was going to go and conquer everything in Italy and he was going to bring the Champions League there. Because he's failed and Messi hasn't been able to do it at Barcelona, and Barcelona got themselves into financial hardship, they've both shown their true colours, as far as I'm concerned. And I used to hold both of these guys in the highest of admiration, and nobody can question their football abilities. Nobody. What they've done is beyond reproach on the football pitch. It's top notch. But you're telling me now, and of course I love to stick the knife into United fans, and they love to stick the knife right back into me. But I have to say, sitting here and thinking of Cristiano Ronaldo playing for Manchester City, after everything that he said and done, after all the words he's spoken about Sir Alex Ferguson, after his little rant about Real Madrid last week and how his story there was finished and all of that stuff, if he turns around and pulls a Carlos Tevez and goes to Manchester City, is there any romance left in the game? And we've seen Messi, the other great of our era. Like, can I not just retire and fuck off to the MLS gracefully or something? Like, it's mad. You nervous for the Chelsea game? Love the streams. Thank you, Paddy. I'm very nervous about it, mate. I won't lie to you. I'm very nervous. I did a preview of Alex Goldberg, which will be coming on tomorrow. And look, I predicted a 2-1 win for Liverpool. I let you in on that one, but I would be lying if I said I'm not nervous about coming up against Thomas Tuchel. They are the European champions, and they've only gone and strengthened again. They've brought in, obviously, Romelu Lukaku. They look like they're going to add Jules Koundé, and then they're in talk for a midfielder potentially as well. That's on top of all the great business that they've done before. So I won't say it's going to set the course for our season, but, you know, would I take a point now? No, I probably wouldn't because it's at Anfield, but I don't want to go into the international break on a loss, but can you imagine the buzz if we can pick up those 3 points on Saturday and go into the international break with 9 out of 9? I'd be very happy with that start to the season, considering Manchester City have already dropped some points, considering Arsenal could well have 0 points out of 9 by the end of this weekend. United dropped a couple of points as well at Southampton. But right, let's get to the conversation around the transfers. What are we thinking? It seems a bit of a mixed bag. Well, no, to be fair, I think most of you are saying no transfer. And you know what? After everything I've just said and all the ranting that I've done and spoken about our owners being tight and all, oh God, I'm a naive son of a bitch, but I think we'll do it, you know. I think we'll get somebody in. I don't know if it'll be a permanent or not, but I still have a feeling that we're not done here. I think a lot could depend on Divock. Now, a lot could depend on the interest that may or may not come in for Divock Origi. But as it is right now, if we moved Loris Karius on, or if we excluded him from the players that we have at the club, i.e. to be registered, we'd have one place available, potentially one overseas squad place available. So, you know, there are options there. And I've always said there's better value in Europe than there is in looking to the English transfer market. I think most people seem to be looking like there's going to be no bit of business done. And look, who can blame you, because we've dragged it out this long. But if, and God, praise be to Michael Edwards, if we can pull something out of the bag last minute, and if it's an absolute masterstroke, then, you know, things can change very quickly. And the one thing I will say is, I am a little bit worried still about the Salah situation, and I've said this before. I think Mohamed Salah ideally wants to stay at Liverpool. Reading his body language and stuff, which of course, you know, that's all we can really do, isn't it? Because we're not inside the Mohamed Salah camp or inside the training ground. It looks to me like he's happy at Liverpool, and I fully believe that Liverpool will try their best to get him to sign a new deal. But let's say Mbappe ends up at Real Madrid. Let's say Florentino Perez comes up with some number that when the lads finish breaking their shite laughing in Paris and they accept the offer and can't believe that they've just gotten 180 or 185 million quid for a player they thought they were going to lose for nothing. When they get past all that and they come around to look and they go, oh, we suddenly have enough money to go and buy a Harry Kane or a Mohamed Salah, then I start to get a bit nervous, because until Salah is tied down to that new deal, I wonder. And Harry Kane has put out his, to call it a statement is a stretch. It's a tweet that basically, how I read it was this: I can't believe I'm such a fucking idiot that I let my brother become my agent and talk me into a 6-year contract, and now I'm stuck here playing with this and dealing with Daniel Levy. Even though the big bald man said that I could leave, I had an agreement with him. But of course, my brother being my agent didn't get that in any writing. No. Little handshake, little nod and a wink with Daniel Levy. You don't fuck about with Daniel Levy. Daniel Levy's gangster. I respect Daniel Levy. Daniel Levy is gangster when it comes to transfer business. And I actually listened to News Talk last night, and they were talking about the fact Daniel Levy was probably sitting in his office with a big cigar, having a smoke of it, going, that was too easy. That was too easy. How easy it was to sort out the Kane situation. It was just too easy. Right, what have we got? Hello, Craig. I'm late. How mad are you? I'm actually not. I'm actually in a decent mood, believe it or not. This is more just me being playful than anything else. Sell Origi to PSG for 160. See, the trick here is to say he's not available. So just keep saying no. Do you know what I mean? Just keep saying no. Do you know, they might give him Malta or something. They just might give him, like, buy him Malta. Just like, hey, have Malta. No offence to Malta. Beautiful place. Hey, Craig, love from Australia. Is it Manduki from PSV? Not heard height nor sound of it, mate. Sorry to suggest. Did I miss a super chat? I did. Big Irish Nut Syndrome. Adam, my man, how are you? If anybody isn't aware, again, I've made this public recently, and it's something that hasn't been spoken about often enough in the public by Irish males, because we do like to keep things to ourselves. But an affliction that we do have is bins, which is why when Manscaped approached us about working with them, and I disclosed bins to them, and bin stands for Big Irish Nut Syndrome. When I talked to Manscaped and they told me about the all new Lawnmower 4.0 and the increased battery life and the 7,000 RPM motor, I thought to myself, could it possibly handle these big Irish nuts? And you know what? Schmood. That's all I'm going to say to you, folks. Schmood. WFM20 at the checkout. Right, what have we got? I'm just going to read some of your comments now, because if I keep talking, we're going to go to log into this channel tomorrow and YouTube's just going to go, sorry, mate. Nah, you're done. Craig, do I lean towards FSG in or FSG out? I think it's a nuanced question. Now, if you had somebody lined up there for me tomorrow that would let's say, even run the club in a similar way, I'd say, get the fuck out of here, John W. Henry. See ya, adios, bye-bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Cheers for everything, mate. Appreciate it, but, you know, off on your little yacht you go there, mate. Oh, and do you know them yellow flowers that you sat down with your bullshit apology? Yeah, you can take them with you as well, mate, because they're about as fucking fake as the apology was. So, yeah, ideally, I would be FSG out, but I can't sit here in good conscience and say that they're all bad, because they aren't. Let's be honest about it. They're fairly steady as she goes owners. I suppose our biggest problem with them now, apart from the lying, and that was, you know, lying on another level, by the way, you know, oh, by the way, here's the Super League. We forgot to mention it to you, but we've signed up to it on your behalves anyway. You know, all those years, the 127 or 120 years, whatever it is, the club's been in existence at the time. Nah, fuck that, mate. We've decided, no, what is it now? 1892, 131 years the club's been in existence. Yeah, that, fuck that, mate. We couldn't be arsed anymore. So, you know what I mean? We've signed up to the Super League now. Best mates with Florentino Perez. Me and the other Americans were sitting around having a steak dinner and a bottle of Merlot, and we said to ourselves, how can we NFL the shit out of European football? And we came up with this master plan. I'll never forgive that. Never. Because they sold every single fan and all we hold dear down the river for the sake of closed shop and lots more money. And let's be honest about it, I'd rather win stuff the way we've done it. I would rather win a Premier League the way that we've done it, with a squad that's been built through cleverness, through fantastic acquisitions, through great sales, through some youth players coming through as well. It felt right when we won the Premier League. Now, of course, it was a crying shame the way that Jordan Henderson and those players and their families and Kloppo and all didn't get to celebrate with the fans, but it felt valid. We won the Premier League, and I felt I could look in the mirror and say, yeah, we won it, and we won it. You don't want to say the right way, but we won it, and we won it without any problems, any iffies. Nobody can put an exclamation mark beside it. Same with the Champions League. We won it. And that's because of great management. And you have to give some credit to our owners on that as well. My big problem with the owners is, apart from all the lies, you got us to this point, a point where we'd won the Premier League, we'd won the Champions League, we have the best manager, in my opinion, in world football. We've a very good squad. But yeah, we're not kicking on. And I think that's where we're all very frustrated, because 95% of us are realistic. 95% of us know that most likely Kloppo might have 30 to 40 million quid signings a summer. Now, if we turn over a few quid, that could change. So that's realistic for most of us, and we're all right with that. Because we know with the scouting system we have in place, and with the deal making that Michael Edwards can do, and with the coaching that Jurgen Klopp and Pep Linders and those boys put together, that we are going to turn these players into even better players. And we will still be able to compete because we have assembled a very, very good squad. We're not that far away. The problem is the frustration of being next summer FC over and over and over, in a summer where apparently the world is broke. Nobody has 2 pence to rub together. Yeah, Messi's moved, Mbappe might move, Ronaldo could move, Grealish moved for 100 million quid, Lukaku moved for just short of 100 million quid. What else we got? Aston Villa went out and spent a good bit of money. Arsenal have dropped about 140 million quid. United have spent about 110 million quid. And we're in profit. We're in profit. Because we've sold more than we've brought in. That's, where do I go with that? Honestly, what can I say to that other than they'd just be very grateful that Jurgen Klopp is at Liverpool Football Club, because he is hiding a lot of deficiencies and the fact that we need to get lucky again with injuries. If we can stay injury-free, or relatively injury-free throughout the season, I think we'll be there or thereabouts in most competitions. Now, of course, we have to talk about the Carabao Cup draw as well. We've been drawn away to Norwich in that one, so, you know, if past history is to go by, Jurgen Klopp hasn't, I don't want to say he hasn't taken the competition seriously, because I think that would be being disingenuous towards Kloppo, but he hasn't gone balls out to win them, I think would be fair enough to say. And I think it'd be nice to go far in the domestic cups and try and lift another one. So, you know, Norwich, it's a winnable game. I don't know how strong Daniel Farke and his team will go, but I hope we can go there and get that job done. Maybe give Kate Gordon some minutes and get a decent result. Who was the worst and best owners? Said Henry. If we look at it from just a Premier League perspective, mate, worst owners, It's probably a toss-up between the Glazers and the Cronkies, if I'm being honest with you. And the only reason I'm leaving FSG out of that conversation is because we're not being milked like a cash cow. Like, they're not at the teat of Liverpool, you know, milking all the profits off or sending it to stockholders, or, you know, they'll make a load of money when they sell it, and they will make a shed load of money. But to my knowledge, as of yet, I don't think they've taken any money out of the football club, and that's the only thing that differentiates them to the likes of Kroenke and the Glazers for me. Now, obviously, Manchester United are traded on the stock exchange. There are some responsibilities that I don't understand and comprehend that go along with that. But Arsenal, I can't even say they lack ambition, because they've just gone out and spent 140 odd million quid. But what I will say is, I've heard talk of Edu, the sporting director, potentially being sacked. He should be, because I don't know what the hell they were smoking, to use a John W. Henry phrase, over at the Emirates when they decided on those transfers. Ben White, fair enough, if you're going to play two big centre-backs either side of him in a three. And even at that, 50 million. I mean, if Liverpool had paid 50 million for Ben White, I'd have been questioning it. I mean, I do rate the lad as a footballer. I won't revise history. I do rate the lad, but he needs to be played in a three with two other big centre-backs and not in a back four. Because Kieran Tierney's not really a left-back, let's be honest. So whatever Arsenal are doing, they're making a hames of it. And if they sack Arteta and bring somebody else in, I don't think it's going to make much difference. Anyway, and the best owners in the Premier League, I would say probably Leicester City's owners, because, and this isn't something we get to say very often, I feel they genuinely care. Obviously, what happened to the current owner's father was a tragedy, and nobody wanted to see it happen. But they were always good owners, and if anything, he wants to add to his father's legacy now. He wants to, you know, push Leicester City on. They're an ambitious club, and they've done cracking business. They treat the fans very well. As I said, I've got Leicester City supporting mates who go home and away, and they always get a little present or a little treat when they go on the official away coaches and all. And, you know, you could see what it meant to the Leicester City owner when they won the FA Cup and the Charity Shield, and you could see, you know, genuinely I got emotional watching this. I could see he was sitting there, I think it was when the penalties were being taken, or excuse me, when they scored in the Charity Shield, and he had his hand on where his dad's seat was, will be an empty seat, like, and it genuinely moved me because they care. The fans know that, and it shines through on the football club. So I would class them as probably the best owners, to be honest with you, mate, because from what they had to do, the gap that they had to come in from, to then go win the Premier League, to push on, win the FA Cup for the first time in the club's history, bring in a manager in Brendan Rodgers, keep the likes of Yuri Tielemans there, keep Harvey Barnes there, James Maddison there, and lose Harry Maguire and bring in Soyuncu and Fofana. Just good owners, mate. Just a well-run football club, and, you know, you got to give credit where it's due. I have so much respect for Leicester and their owners. Same, Will. I mean, they are a breath of fresh air. I think a lot of football people look at Leicester City's owners in the way that they run the club and just go, look, fair play. It's clever. You won't even look at the business and say they're out there overpaying or splashing out big wages. They're not. They're just very clever. They're unearthing some great talents. You go right back to when they had N'Golo Kante and they picked him out of France from nowhere. They just have a very, very good system in place. They spent 100 million quid on a new academy as well, which is absolutely fantastic. And look, we've got our own academy, which is, you know, brilliant. And our owners have done that on Jurgen Klopp's suggestion. Bradley Fricker said, looking sharp, but do you think with our youngsters coming through, Gordon, Elliott, Jones, our next few transfer windows will be like this one? You know what, Bradley, mate? I'll be entirely honest with you. I'm inclined to say no, that we will sign players next summer. But then again, if you would have asked me at the start of this window, I would have been absolutely stonewall. Yes, 100% yes, that we were going to replace Gini Wijnaldum and we were going to bring in another forward. Now, I can understand one of thinking either Harvey Elliott can replace Xherdan Shaqiri's minutes in the squad, or can take Shaqiri's squad place. I absolutely, hand on heart, think that's fair enough. But then you look to our midfield, and you can't tell me that we're expecting him to cover Gini Wijnaldum's minutes as well, because quite frankly, Gini Wijnaldum played, I think, maybe next to Bobby Firmino, the most amount of minutes in the last 5 years or something under Jurgen Klopp. A ridiculous amount of football. And that's because not only was he one of Klopp's trusted lieutenants and, of course, a very fine footballer, but he was always fit and available. And if we look at the midfield now, nobody can question the quality of Thiago. Nobody would question the quality of Jordan Henderson. Nobody would question Fabinho. But you start looking around and think, okay, Henderson's 31, heading for 32, starting to pick up a few niggles and strains. Thiago's been a bit stop-start with injuries since he's arrived. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Naby Keita have sketchy injury records, both very good players on their day. So there's a lot to be positive about, and you can see why it's been pitched to us that everything's tickety-boo. But we know we're 1 or 2 injuries in midfield away from a congested fixture list and being back to basically throwing away the domestic cups again and trying to put all our eggs in the basket of the Premier League and the Champions League. And I feel like that's a crying shame, because with a little bit of additional help, Jurgen Klopp and this really, really fine group of players could try and push for everything. I really do feel that way. I've never known a group of players mentally as strong as this group in my lifetime watching Liverpool. To come back from losing the Premier League by a point to win it, to come back from losing the Champions League the way we did with Salah picking up his injury to win it the next year, to come out of nowhere in that Champions League race last year to end up finishing third, it's madness. And that comes from Jurgen Klopp, the belief he's instilled in the players and the belief that they have in themselves. And that's what I think really hurts us is, can you imagine just adding a little sprinkling more to that, a little bit of depth in there, just 1 or 2 little players, and we could be right at it again. We could be there or thereabouts in every single competition. Jens said, someone should make a fans union across the clubs and take some power back from the greedy owners, agents and players and take back the joy of football. It's just not going to happen though, mate, is it? Because, you know, Liverpool, for instance, I think it's a Spirit of Shankly, who are, by the way, very, very, very good at what they do and speak very well and are very well educated on Liverpool Football Club and everything to do with it. But even they were given, you know, some assurances, but you're never never really going to get a club to do what, you know, we'd want, which is give them a voting share on real issues. I mean, I'd be very surprised if that ever happened. PSG accepted the offer from Mbappe, have they? I genuinely don't know if that's true or not. Richard saying about Bissouma, no problem, mate. I will go back over the Bissouma. So Duncan Castle said that Liverpool have made an inquiry about Yves Bissouma of Brighton. Somebody who, you know, his name had been mentioned with us at the start of the window. His name had been mentioned with Manchester United in recent times as well. And somebody who I've said and still stand over could be an excellent GD replacement. No, I've never had any issues with his name being mentioned. In fact, I really rate the guy. But would Graham Potter want to lose him so close to the end of the transfer window? I don't know, because Brighton have had a good start. So, you know, would they want to go out there and lose him as well? I don't know, because they wouldn't have much time to replace him, would they? So, again, I think, I don't know if we're scrambling around last minute or if this is going to be a masterstroke or if we're just going to be frustrated. There's 3 things that can potentially happen here. We could have left it last minute, which I just fail to believe because these guys plan too far ahead. We could have no interest in doing any business, or we could pull off something sensational right at the end when everybody else is scrambling and the clock's ticking and the pound notes aren't adding up in the profit and loss accounts. And that's when Michael Edwards is at his best. So I suppose the real time to make the judgment on this transfer window is at 5 minutes past 11 next Tuesday when the window slams shut. And that's, I think, when we all really will have our say on whether it's been a successful window or not. But before that, there's a massive game coming up on Saturday against a very, very good Chelsea team. A Chelsea team that has added Romelu Lukaku in there, scored himself a goal in the first game, looked really sharp. And Jurgen Klopp and his boys' full focus needs to be on that game on Saturday, because it could make a big statement if we win it, go into the international break with 9 points. It's not the end of the world if we don't win it. I mean, worst case scenario, you'd hope for at least a draw. But it's something that I'm really looking forward to this weekend, because it is the first of the real big games for us this season. And look, I'll go back over the Champions League groups again in a few minutes, but people were upset maybe or disappointed by the Champions League group, that they would have said, oh, United got an easy group or yada yada. And I don't single out United there for any particular reason, but I like it. I like when we get a tough Champions League group, because I don't like going and playing Midfield and beating them 4-1 or something. I much prefer the bring on your AC Milans, bring on your Atletico Madrids, bring on your Portos. You know, they're all interesting games. And again, if we don't get out of that group, if we can't navigate our way through that group, then we've no business worrying about the latter stages of the tournament, because they're all eminently winnable ties. So we should be looking to get out of that group. We should be looking to top that group. That's my opinion anyway. Atleti, look, we've got a bit of history with them, don't we? We know why we went out to Atletico Madrid 2 seasons ago, and we know that they're a very good side. And you know, when we go and play them, it's going to be very difficult to get anything. But if you could leave there with a point, you'd fancy us to get the 3 at Anfield. I think this is the last season as well, that any football will be played at the current San Siro. I know they're building right beside it, so for any travelling Reds or anybody who gets a chance, this could be a last occasion to maybe go to what is one of the most historic football stadiums in Europe and visit the and visit there as well before it's knocked down. So I like our group, and I mean we're usually quite good. Sadio Mane would be loving the idea of playing Porto again. He loved him a goal against Porto. Ronan Murphy, welcome to the members group, buddy, and you will see the link to the Anfield Agenda members only Discord now in the community tab of our YouTube channel, Ronan. Thank you very much for becoming a member, mate. Really appreciate you. Welcome. There was something I needed to do today. Yeah, no, I'll figure it out later. It's nothing too big. There was another super chat, said Mr. Vlasic. I'm still baffled that Divock has survived another window. The guy is such a liability. I mean, I agree with you in the first half of the statement. I'm baffled as well, but it's not done yet. There is still interest from Premier League clubs. And by the way, we haven't even touched on Nat Phillips, somebody who, you know, apparently had a queue a mile long at the start of the window. You know, we were here in West Ham, we were here in Brighton, Southampton at one point, obviously, since they lost Vestergaard as well. So, you know, he could still go out the door and bring in another 10 or 12 million quid. But I mean, to call Origi a liability, look, I'm the first one to be critical of Divock at times, but I also have to follow that up with showing the man the respect for the moments he's been a part of. And I kind of felt a little bit humbled, actually, when I watched a show on LFC TV that Pep Linders and Jurgen Klopp looked back over the 4-0 comeback against Barcelona at Anfield. And they were so proud, and Jurgen Klopp spoke in glowing terms about the work that Divock did that night, exactly as he was asked to do. So they seem to think very highly of Divock. And I think, you know, maybe in another time Divock would have had a better run of it at Liverpool. But when you look ahead of him right now, and you see Sadio Mane, Jota, Firmino and Salah, with the best of intentions and the best of respect towards Divock Origi, he's not going to force his way in there ahead of them on any type of a consistent basis, because he's not the same caliber of footballer. So I just hope for him that he gets a move and that he gets to play some football, because all that will happen is him potentially coming at Liverpool, get a few minutes here or there. If he doesn't score, everybody gets frustrated and no goodness can come of it. Whereas if the lad was to go and get himself a move to wherever suits Divock as well, because it has to, you know, work for him and his family and his life, of course. We'd all just say thank you for everything, Divock, like we did with Genie, like we did with Shaqiri. Wish him all the best, and, you know, remember him for the fun moments. We will. The Champions League goal, the goal against Everton, Newcastle, all the big moments. What's your opinion of Duncan from Cop Talk? I've no idea who he is or they are. Sorry. No disrespect intended. I just genuinely don't. And I don't mean any disrespect whatsoever. What are your thoughts on a Campos wife adding "You'll Never Walk Alone" to her bio? I don't know, maybe she's watched a musical, maybe she's watched what was the musical that "You'll Never Walk Alone" came from again? Somebody in the chat must know. What was the musical that song comes from? I think it's a Roger Smith and Roger Hamston and Roger, what the fuck? Carousel, was that it? Carousel, I think I'm right. I think it came from Carousel. Anyway, I don't know anything about why his wife would have added it or why she wouldn't, but what I can say is I don't know if I would be happy with a Campos coming in. Yes, Bernadette said a Carousel. I knew it was Carousel there. I couldn't get it out. Divock and a bag of Doritos per Sar. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but didn't somebody say the other night that Aston Villa had bid 45 million for Ismail Assar from Watford? I don't know if anything came of that. I was trying to think of this earlier on, actually, when I was recording a video with Mark. I couldn't for the life of me think if they'd accepted that or not. But there was talk of a 45 million quid bid from Aston Villa. PSG accepted Real Madrid's bid. Now is when we need to ask, what will PSG do next? Will they come knocking Mohamed Salah's door? Will they go knocking Spurs for Mauricio Pochettino? Maybe fancy hooking back up a Harry Kane, and maybe Daniel Levy would look more fondly at selling Harry Kane potentially to a club outside of the Premier League. I don't know. I'm spitballing here, but hearing that they potentially accepted that bid worries me when I know that Mohamed Salah's name isn't in fresh ink on the new contract. I won't lie to you. It does worry me. Mr. Jury, you make me smile, buddy. Thank you. Say, Craig, I know you suffer from bins, but I unfortunately suffer from SENS, small English nut syndrome. Will Manscaped still work for me? The beauty for you there, Mr. Jury, is you won't even have to recharge the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0, buddy, because it has that increased battery life. Did I mention it's waterproof, by the way? And it has cutting-edge ceramic technology to keep your nuts safe. It also has a travel lock, a 4000K LED light, and to cap it all off, it's waterproof. How can you get yourself a discount, I hear you say? Why, by just going to manscaped.com and using our code WFM20, you will get yourself 20% off on manscaped.com. And it doesn't matter if you suffer from bins or if you suffer from SENS in your case, Mr. Jury. But thank you for leading me into that, mate. I did another little Manscaped pitch. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to head off in a couple of moments' time. Please do take a second, hit that subscribe button, drop a like on the video. I've got the preview video with Alex Goldberg with my predicted 11 and score prediction. That's going to be coming out tomorrow afternoon. I will be back, hopefully, in somewhat of a more stable form tomorrow at 8:45 for another late night agenda. And then, of course, on Saturday, I will be early doors over on That's Football with Mark Goldbridge. We're going to do a joint watch along of the Arsenal-Manchester City game. So we'll be going live from 12 o'clock. I'll be then on here at 5 o'clock for a watch along of our game against Chelsea. Jack Gill will be live on our Instagram account at 4:30 with the team news announcement. I'll have a post-match show. Jack will have a post-match show. And then we'll have a player rating show as well. So lots and lots and lots of stuff coming up. I know today was a bit of a mad one. I don't know where it came from, but we ended up there. What can I say? It is what it is. Love you guys. Have yourselves an absolutely amazing what day? Thursday? What day it is? I'm gone. I'm gone, folks. I've lost it. Have yourselves a wonderful evening anyway. Lots of love to all of you. Take care.